You're not alone. Today, belief is shifting. It's becoming personal, not just institutional. Millions are quietly redefining faith without old labels, without fear. If you believe in God but feel distant from organized religion, this message is for you. Welcome to Curious Access, where we explore big questions honestly. Across America, a silent spiritual change is happening. People aren't leaving God behind. They're simply rediscovering a higher power in new ways. They still sense a divine presence, a sacred intelligence, but they no longer find meaning in rigid structures, rituals, or fixed rules. For them, faith is less about belonging to a group and more about a vast, personal, and deeply human connection. This isn't a rebellion. It's an awakening. It's rediscovering true spirituality. That deep human longing for meaning, connection, and truth. Just as it was before, institutions shaped it. Carl Jung famously observed, "Religion is a defense against the experience of God." What did he mean? Often, institutions, their strict rules and collective systems actually protect us. They shield us from the raw, deeply transformative experience of the sacred itself. When our beliefs become overly structured, too rigid, they often lose their very soul, their true spiritual essence. Many people today are sensing a profound shift. They're growing weary of just being told what to believe in sermons. Instead, there's a deep yearning to feel what is genuinely real, to experience it firsthand. They're not searching for external authority figures anymore. What truly matters is finding authenticity within themselves and their own experiences. This is why so many are turning inward. They embrace practices like meditation, connecting with nature, finding peace in silence, or engaging in acts of service. These aren't acts of rebellion. They are becoming powerful new ways, new languages for expressing their personal faith. As Alan Watts, a brilliant philosopher who skillfully blended Eastern and Western wisdom, once put it so simply, "The menu is not the inner self meal." What he meant was profound. These spiritual systems, these pathways, are like a restaurant menu. They beautifully describe the delicious experience. They point to the truth, but they are never the actual, nourishing meal itself. Many are now waking up to a stark realization. They've spent years diligently memorizing every single item on the menu, yet they've never truly savored or tasted the meal itself. People now seek to feel the divine firsthand, bypassing middlemen. This direct search is what Carl Jung called individuation. It's about bringing together our conscious and unconscious, our human self, and the divine, the everyday and the eternal. On this path, the divine stops being just a concept. It becomes a real, personal encounter. God isn't outside anymore. It's a presence times inside times your mind, the vital spark that truly makes us alive. And it's not only young people driving this change. Across all ages, from the strictly religious to those with no faith at all, one truth emerges. You can't inherit faith. You must discover it yourself. When we meditate, reflect, or just gaze at the vast night sky, we often feel a strange mix. Tiny, yet connected, humbled, yet infinite. That profound feeling, not a rigid belief, not a simple label, is true spirituality. Historically, organized religion once provided that spiritual depth. Temples, churches, and mosques were sacred spaces where we encountered the profound mystery. Yet, as religion merged with politics, power, and rigid social control, many felt that the profound mystery gave way to mere management. The sacred became overtly structured, and authentic faith transformed into performance. For countless individuals, the institution no longer felt like a true spiritual home, though the deep, human longing for connection never disappeared. In a profound sense, we are witnessing history's pendulum swing. People are moving from religion as a rigid system to spirituality as a lived experience. from belief rooted in blind obedience to belief rooted in conscious awareness. This isn't confined to one region. Globally, millions are awakening to the realization that ultimate truth isn't restricted to a single scripture or a specific building. When a person walks in the forest and finds deep peace, or when they selflessly care for another without expecting reward, that, too, is a profound form of prayer. When someone offers genuine forgiveness or simply sits quietly in gratitude, that truly is worship. The sacred has always been right here, close to us. We just forgot how to see it. As Alan Watts wisely said, "You are the universe experiencing itself." This idea that the divine isn't separate from life, but deeply woven into it, is central to this spiritual awakening. Today, believing in God doesn't mean losing who you are. Instead, it's waking up to a divine energy that's everywhere, in your joy, your sadness, and even in the quiet space between thoughts. So, why is this happening now? Why are so many people moving away from traditional religion at this moment? It's because the modern mind is changing. We're not content with just external answers anymore. Science, psychology, and spirituality are all coming together, showing us that the experience of God isn't out there. It's actually deep within our own minds. Carl Jung called this the next natural step for humanity, a move from worshiping externally to finding truth within. Jung believed we must learn to find the divine times inside our own minds. Otherwise, he warned, we risk losing all meaning. And today, this is precisely what we see. Not a loss of faith, but a powerful transformation of it. People aren't abandoning God in a broad sense. Instead, they're redefining their own time's personal path. They're realizing true spirituality doesn't always need a formal religious structure. Silence can be a profound prayer. Acts of service become our worship. And love itself can be the holiest, most sacred scripture of all. This isn't about rejecting old traditions. It's about reclaiming a direct, personal experience. It's about rediscovering that living, breathing presence that institutions perhaps forgot to introduce us to, a quiet divinity waiting within every human heart. So, what does this fresh, inner kind of faith actually look like in our daily lives? It often appears as meditation instead of rote memorization. It's awareness replacing anxiety. It's a man sitting peacefully at dawn, taking deep breaths, truly listening to the quiet hum of life all around him. Picture a mother quietly closing her eyes for a moment of gratitude right before serving dinner. Or imagine a young woman feeling closest to something divine. Whether she's painting, hiking a mountain trail, or simply helping a stranger. These deeply personal moments often don't fit any strict religious rulebook, yet they are absolutely brimming with a profound sense of reverence. Carl Jung, the renowned psychologist, actually described this deep inward journey as the religious function of the psyche. He believed that our impulse toward the divine is purely instinctive, a fundamental, deep-seated archetype embedded within every single human being. When established, organized religion sometimes fails to nurture this innate need. Our psyche instinctively compensates. It starts finding its own powerful symbols, the clarity of light, the flow of water, the mysteries of dreams, the peace of nature. That's precisely why meditation can feel so sacred, why the vast ocean feels inherently holy, and why moments of pure silence often feel so deeply alive. It's simply our unconscious mind, gently whispering, there is indeed something more. For countless centuries, the mystics across all faiths have echoed this exact same sentiment. The profound Sufi poet Rumi beautifully captured it, writing, I looked for God and found only myself. I looked for myself and found only God. Christian mystic Meister Eckhart echoed this. He said, the eye I use to see God is the very same eye God uses to see me. And from the East, the Buddha taught us, enlightenment isn't about worship, it's an awakening. Realizing that the feeling of being separate is just an illusion. All these profound voices share one powerful truth. The divine isn't far away. It's here, right now. Philosopher Alan Watts expanded on this for our modern understanding. He urged, if you define yourself by what you times think times you are, you miss the times real times you, the ever-changing flow of life itself. When people today say they're spiritual but not religious, they're often describing this exact awakening. It's recognizing you're part of something vast, and that strict labels only limit this beautiful mystery. But does this mean traditional religion is worthless? Absolutely not. Religions offer beautiful maps. They contain poetry, foster community, and hold centuries of deep wisdom. Still, remember, a map is never the actual territory. Perhaps one visits a temple or church, not by obligation but by choice, not to obey but to remember. True freedom of faith doesn't destroy old symbols, it simply lets them breathe new life. This reimagined spirituality also challenges the old idea that morality demands religion. Across modern America, millions identifying as non-religious still embody virtues once taught from pulpits. Kindness, honesty, compassion, humility. They volunteer, protect the environment, support neighbors, and raise loving children. Goodness, it seems, isn't a monopoly of any belief system, it's a universal language of the heart. Philosophically, this holds true. Morality fundamentally is empathy in action. You don't need a commandment to grasp that suffering matters or that love heals. When people act from conscience, not just compliance, their ethics truly come alive. This shows how a non-religious person can embrace a deeply spiritual existence, while a religious one might remain untouched by true spirit. Why? Because spirituality isn't about doctrines, it's about awakened consciousness. The digital era has rapidly fueled this shift. Today, with vast access to ideas from cutting-edge neuroscience to ancient mysticism, individuals freely craft their unique tapestry of meaning. We see scientists meditating and monks delving into physics. The old boundaries dissolve, revealing a profound human truth. All sincere paths ultimately converge on a shared horizon of understanding, compassion, and deep wonder. Yet, this evolution isn't without its challenges. For some, departing from religion feels like a profound betrayal, and for others, remaining within feels like suffocation. But perhaps the true invitation isn't to pick a side. Instead, it's to harmoniously integrate both, to respect the profound wisdom of tradition while fully embracing the expansive freedom of personal experience. Carl Jung termed this integration, the powerful union of opposing forces, blending inner belief with outward practice. It's when our very soul truly finds its completeness. Picture a world where diverse beliefs, even no belief, converge not in debate, but in shared wonder, where a Christian, a Buddhist, and an atheist share the same starlit sky, feeling a universal reverence. The focus shifts from who is right to what is genuinely real. This emerging world takes shape subtly, in deep conversations, mindful meditation, digital forums, and groups prioritizing presence over rigid dogma. Perhaps this marks the true reformation, not fracturing institutions, but mending human hearts. For the sacred has never been confined to a single tongue or a particular lineage. It has always resonated universally through our shared human experience. As Alan Watts humorously put it, trying to define God is like trying to bite your own teeth. Perhaps this is why silence holds such sanctity. It graciously allows the profound mystery to simply exist. In stillness, we rediscover the wonder religion once sought to protect, and that wonder is the true birthplace of faith. So, where does this leave us now? It places us in a wide, open landscape where belief isn't dictated but genuinely discovered. Your own mind becomes the temple, your deep awareness, the prayer, and life itself, the scripture. This grants us freedom, but also great responsibility, because without an external authority, we become the caretakers of our own conscience. Faith without religion isn't a lack of faith. It's faith that has matured, no longer dependent, no longer afraid. It's faith that has journeyed from the outer world into your inner being. It's the quiet understanding that all the sacred wisdom you were taught to seek has always resided within you. When you gaze at a sunrise and feel pure gratitude, when you forgive someone and feel a lightness, when you create something beautiful for no reward at all, that is prayer. When you choose love through hardship, pick truth over ease, or help a stranger, that's true devotion. In such moments, religious boundaries fade into life itself. Perhaps the divine wasn't ever confined to temples or ancient texts. Maybe it was simply within us, just waiting for us to remember. As Watts said, "You are an aperture through which the universe looks at itself." Once, and you see through this lens, everything becomes sacred. So, take a deep breath. Feel that pulse, your heartbeat. This, right now, is worship. This is true connection. This is God not out there, but here, within you, within me, in the very space connecting all living things. Thank you for watching Curious Access. If this message felt right for you, please hit that like button. It truly helps us grow. For more thoughtful reflections on faith, freedom, and the human journey, subscribe and join our community of seekers. Because our questions don't end here, they only grow deeper. Together, we'll keep exploring that path, not for quick answers, but for profound understanding.